Hi there, my name is Dawyne, and today let's see how we can master and understand everything about the main menu in DaVinci Resolve 17. Now guys, when you look here, you see straight the main menu. So are you ready? Let's jump in. I am here. I have opened up my program DaVinci Resolve 17 and I have gone to the media page. Now you can be on any page. I've just selected the edit page, where you can be on any other page, but just switch to the edit page, you just notice that all pages have the main menu. Just hope you kinda be familiar with anything that you really wanna have it done. So what I wanna do is point you first to menus here that you can play around with to have the best experience in DaVinci Resolve. We have the DaVinci Resolve menu, the file, the edit, the trim, timeline, clip, mark, view, playback, fusion, color, fairlight, workspace, and help. Alright, so what I want to focus on first is DaVinci Resolve. Now when you come here, you can get all the information about DaVinci Resolve. Now what they're gonna open for you is this first console here that you get when you're opening up DaVinci Resolve. Now you go into the details here, the build number, whatsoever. I don't know what to go into that. Alright, so what I want to focus your eyes onto is the keyboard customization. Now when you land into here, you see the standard kind of like editing keyboard that you might have. Could be on your PC, or could be you may not really have it and then you just have to purchase it. Just go on and look at all the keys in here. You also have the number key, you have the play, forward and backward. You also have this kind of like a summary where we have the start, the end, and stuff going over here, and then the standard keyboard that you can always have on every computer. Now what I want to focus your eyes on too are the commands. When you go to commands, you can choose anything that you want to give a shortcut. Could be within the edit menu here, I can close things. Could be within the file, could be I want to create a new timeline, so I can just click in this free space here and I can just say Control N. When I press Control N on my keyboard, it's just gonna be there. It's just gonna save itself as a new shortcut for me. Well, just go on and look for any option that you want to assign with any shortcut and go on and assign that. You get the point, okay? And then when you're done, just press save. Pretty easy, and close. So that's keyboard customization. You can also check for updates. Well, could be you must have the internet and try to make sure that you access the internet. You can also quit DaVinci Resolve. And what I want to point your eyes to are the preferences. When you go to preferences, you have different stuff going over here. You have the memory and GPU, and here you can change different configurations about your memory. You can change the limit of your memory. Now I have, my system is 11.9 gigabytes. That's the RAM. Now you can change the limits. You see, limit resolve memory usage to, now it could be your computer is lagging down because you limit your memory usage, and make sure it's up to the maximum, and also limit fusion memory cache to, so just make sure it's to the maximum. Don't really limit it. Just keep it really high so you can have the best experience within DaVinci Resolve. Now, we are still in the system. I'll point you straight to the user a little bit later. Right now I just want to focus your eyes onto the GPU configuration. Now guys, this is a very important thing. Make sure that your GPU is turned on. You can also shift from auto to OpenCL. If you don't really know much about OpenCL, just Google and say OpenCL. Majorly it's just a technology that allows you to accelerate your GPU, and so I just want to leave it auto. So there it kind of selects for me whichever GPU that's available that it can always use. Now these are my graphics card, and if you have some other external graphics card, just go on and select it in here, and so you can use it. So I already have one, and I'm just gonna select that to auto. When I go to user, here you can choose your language. Could be you want to use Chinese, I don't know, Mandarin, I don't know your language really. I'm pretty satisfied with English. And you can toggle between different options over here. You can load, now these are settings guys, and you can reload last working project when logging in, or you can switch focus indicators in the user interface. You can use gray background in user interface. You can also use background in viewers. Yeah, you guys, viewers, we have two viewers, so pretty handy. We have the source viewer and just the viewer, the main viewer, to always play back your footage. You also have some other options going over here. You can resize image in viewer to square pixels. Well, these are set for me as default, and I'm just gonna leave them just as default. What I wanted to show you are kind of like to help you understand which other options are available here that you can utilize. When you're done, you can press save. Well, I am not done, so I'm gonna go to another option here, project save and load. I just want to point your eyes onto here, load all times when opening projects. So what this really means is you are loading your project settings every time that you open up a new project. This majorly means that even if you set up your project settings over here, so it can't really come, but when you set up your project settings over here, it's gonna load all those settings every time you open up a new project, which is really cool, but sometimes it isn't. So just make sure you select what is best for you, and I am just gonna leave it like this. You can also save settings as live save or project backups, and then you can go on and specify on perform projects backups every, could be 10 minutes, I don't know. You can lower this to around 5 minutes, hourly backups for the past and stuff. And then you can also go on and change the location. Well, mine is on drive C, so I'm just gonna leave it in there, but you can go on and play around with the location and change it to whatever position that you really want. Now when you go back to the system, we and the user, and that's why we got these other options here. You also have editing. You can change different stuff going over here, number of video tracks, and automatic smart bin, general settings, sound generator, different stuff here, guys. I don't really want to go too much into that. And also you have control over the color, especially the color page, and different stuff here. You can also go and have various control within the Fairlight menu, and you can look at around different options and see how you can fix them and find what's best for you. Playback settings, you can hide UI overlays, it's always automatic. You can make a menu. You can also go to control panels and have different stuff here, grading styles and display LCD brightness and stuff. Well, I'm just not gonna go into too much about that, you know, guys. Let me go back to the system, and I can go to the media storage. Now with the media storage, this is kind of like where you're storing your videos and everything that you're rendering out DaVinci Resolve, your timelines and your projects. Now just go on and make sure that you set this to whichever position you really want. So I set it to my drive, and I created a folder called DaVinci, so it's stick. Make sure it's sticked. If you wanted to change it, you can just tag around that, and you can also add a location, and you just have to select it, and boom, it will be there. I'm just gonna leave it like that. In the code options, guys, here you have control over everything that you wanna have within your GPU settings. You can use your GPU for Blackmagic Raw decode, just in case you wanna have a slow playback. Now these are settings that go too much into motion graphics and decoding, and this software part of it, you know, the hidden part of it, of video editing. But majorly decoding can always help you to kind of find what's the best resolutions and all the best settings within your video projects. Well, just go on and play around with this, but I just like always leaving it in the default. Really, I just really like. You can also use the easy DCP decoder, and you can also automatically refresh growing files in the media pool. So just in case you have too many files, you know, that are developing up within your media pool, you can always refresh them to have a smoother playback. All right, I want to go to another setting here, video and audio. Now you can play around with different stuff here. You can change your playback. For playback use, you have none, so you can set up some other playback kind of like a device, and also enable Fairlight accelerator. Majorly this one is within the studio version. I don't think that you can have this within your free version. You can go on and set up different stuff here. If you have some video plugins, just they'll be showing over here, and then you can enable them or disable all. Audio plugins, you can do the same. You can add a location and then enable plugins over from here, and then you can also have control over your control panels. When you go to the general preferences, you can look at a different, you have control over different processing, audio processing block size, size and different stuff over here. I prefer leaving it as default, not to temper around with any settings here. You can also set up your internet accounts, could be your YouTube channel. You can sign in and it will be showing over here. So just in case you want to upload a video straight to YouTube, just after it's done, just go on and sign in, and then your account will be shown over here, your Vimeo account, your Twitter, your Frame.io, and so many more, just like that. Really easy. When you go to advanced settings, now I don't have any settings in here, but you can still code. You can and some settings in here where I am not a developer, so I'm not gonna put in any other settings in there. I'm gonna press save. You can press cancel if you don't want it to be there, or you can I've just made a little changes over there, so you can just save them and exit. Now guys, when you go to I showed you everything here. I want to point your eyes to the file menu. You can create a new project from here, a new timeline. You can close a timeline just by that, and you also have control over everything. You can import a bin, media, timeline, and different stuff. You can import a project. Could be someone gave you a project and then you want to import it, just easy. You can import metadata. You can export a project, quick export, Ctrl E, that's a shortcut. You can also go to media management and have your media managed just like that. When you go to the edit menu, you have different controls over here. If you want to undo, just press Ctrl Z. If you want to redo, Ctrl plus Shift plus Z, that's command. Where there's control, just press command if you want the Mac. If you want to cut, just Ctrl X and copy. These are kind of like easy shortcuts over here. Alt V just always helps you to, or Option V if you're on the Mac, always helps you to look at the paste attributes of your clip. If you want to delete anything selected, just backspace. If you want to report delete, just press your delete key on your keyboard, or you can just press shift plus backspace, just as simple as that. Now these are great when you are inserting in any footage, like the override, the replace, the place on top, and rip override. Now you can go on and turn these settings still in your preferences. Guys, you remember how we did that? Just go on and change. Could be you have some program that you are using. Now for me, for insert, I am using a program for F10, which is my screen recording software, and I want to point your eyes to the trim menu here. Now within this you have control over, you can trim by just pressing the T. It depends on a different mode that you want to switch to. There's also other things like dynamic trim mode and blade trim mode. So all these are trim modes that you can always go to depending on whichever desire that you really want to have. Well, I just want to have you to just play around with everything here that you see. You can also report, trim, you can roll. Majorly these are great when we are in the cut page or edit page, so you can see the exact text. But these are all the shortcuts, all the options that you have within the trim menu. Just really easy. Well, I want to go to timeline. Now you can add a transition, you can add a video only transition, you can add an only audio transition. Let me just show you that in a while. I just want to get my footage in here, and I have this. Let me increase the size a little bit. Could be I want to add a transition to this. I'm gonna go to timeline and add transition and see how the transition has already come. So when I give this a play back, you notice how it's kind of slow a little bit, but you get the point, huh? And then you can also go to effects, video transitions. Could be you don't want that, and you can just select any. Could be I want smooth cut, and then right click and say add to selected edit points and clips. So when I close this, I have it's here, so you can always have your transition just like that. You get the point. You also have some other options here to add only transition like that. And you also have shortcuts here, Ctrl T, Alt T, and Shift T. You also have some other options here to select clips forward, or Ctrl Y, Ctrl plus Alt plus Y. You can select them backwards on all tracks. Let me just show you something. Could be I want to, this is my playhead, and I can just press Ctrl plus Y, and so I have selected all clips backward. Alright, you get the point. Just play around with that. You can also select clips with flag color. we'll look at colors in a different tutorial where I talk about everything within the cut page and the edit page, so make sure that you check that out. I have a full tutorial about the edit page alone and the cut page, so make sure that you check that out. You can also have different options here where you have the razor, the split clip, you can also join clips, and you can also detect scene cuts. Okay, so what I want to make you focus on is other options here. You can split clips, you can join clips, you can also use a razor just like that. You can also detect scene cuts just to make sure that your video doesn't have any cutout frames. You can also match a frame, and you can also turn on snapping. Now snapping always helps you to, let me go to the edit page a little bit and I show you snapping. Now this is the thing here, could be when you are let me just cut this. Could be I want to move this. You see how it snaps? Let me turn it off so you can see. So when I turn it off, I can easily override any other footage within this, any other clip. But when I turn it on, and I have now over control, so I can hardly override any other clip. Now you can also press N just as a shortcut, just really simple. And you can go on in the keyboard customization and set your own desired shortcut, just as simple as that. Another menu is the clip. Now with the clip, let me say this is selected. I have full control over this clip, and I can create a new compound clip from this. I can create a new fusion clip. I can create a new FX Connect clip. Now, if you don't really know much about this, these are just options that you can move around with in the fusion page majorly. I will make a full tutorial about the fusion page, and please guys check that out when it gets to be out. You can also turn off conform lock enable. Now what this really means is, could be you have your audio attached to video. Let me just go to the media pool and just pull in something in here. Let me just try to import some footage so you can really get the idea of what I am talking about. Just get any random footage here. Let me get this. Let me get this green screen. Get this green screen here, so you can get the point. I'm gonna close the media pool. Let's say this button here is already attached, and so I can't unlock it. So you just go to conform lock enabled, and you can also turn on. You can also unlink clips. So here you have control over the video alone and the audio alone, but before that you couldn't. Let me just Control Z so you can really see what I am talking about. When you select them, they just move two of them, so you can't put them separately. Sometimes this is helpful, sometimes it isn't. So just in case you want to have only the video and you don't want the audio, so just unlink, and there you have control over everything that you want to have. And you can also turn on or off the conform lock enabled. So this kind of helps you to not really make any changes within your clip. You get the point. Now you can also go to you can also enable a clip, or you can disable it by just pressing D. When you press D on your keyboard, you enable, disable, enable. Just as simple as that. And you can also look at different other options here. You can change clip duration, you can change the clip speed by pressing R. So when I click on this and press R, I can change the clip speed to whichever speed that I want, and after that I can now increase its size. You see, sometimes this is super helpful, or you want some clip to kind of drag a little bit so it can finish up your voiceover or your intro or your audio. I don't know, it might be your desire in whichever way that you really want. I'm just gonna select it and go back to clip, and I have other options. I can also freeze frame. You can also freeze a frame. You can auto align clips within the timeline. You can also work around with the audio and stuff, and you also have different options in here. You can render cache fusion output. Now make sure this is always on, or you can put it auto. just in case you are not really so much using the Fusion page. And also you can also find clip in the media pool. Could be you have 1,000 clips, you know, and you can't even remember which clip it really is. Just go to a clip and right click on it, or you can just go to clip and then find in media pool, and they'll highlight it for you. Let me say I am selecting this and I don't even remember. I can also right click and say find in media pool, and they will highlight it for me. So could be you have 1,000 clip down, and when you click on it, DaVinci Resolve will move to that clip and show it to you within the media pool. Super helpful, super handy, super great to know. I'm going to move to another menu, which is the mark. Now you can also put in a mark in or a mark out. Now these are sometimes they are called endpoints, mark endpoints and mark out points, especially if you're from either layer-based programs like Premiere Pro or Final Cut or After Effects. You know what I really mean. And so you can play around with this. Could be you are playing back and you just want to have, I'm gonna close the inspector and I'm gonna turn on the two viewer mode here, and I want to resize this a little bit, and could be I want this so I can play it within my viewer, my source viewer, just like that. Okay, you get the point. And so another thing, you can also convert in and out duration. Now when you click on a clip, you have control over deleting a video in point and an audio out point. Here you can clear an in point by just pressing Alt I, and also an out point, press Alt, or you can clear everything by just pressing Alt X. And you know, you have different options here. You can mark a clip, you can mark a selection, you can create a sub clip out of a clip, and you can also add a marker. Now a marker is kind of like something like a reminder, and you also have control over it here within the edit page. You can just add a marker and just double click it, and or you can just go to whatever place you want to add a marker and go to mark and say add marker, and then choose a color. I don't know, I'll go with pink. Let me just select this and go to mark and add marker. I don't really know why it's not working. Let me just go here and just select, so you can add easily a marker and then double click on it and give it a name and add some notes and keyword, just as simple as that. And you also can look at the duration that is there. You can also remove it, could be you don't want it, and so just as simple as that, I can just click on it and press delete on my keyboard, or just right click and say remove. You get the point. And when I go to view, I still have other options. I can show RGB Packer, highlights, the view channels. I can bypass color and fusion. I can go to window outline and stuff, timeline mode, different stuff going over here. What I want to point your eyes to, the safe area. Now safe area is kind of like when you are working with some graphics and you don't want to have that graphics go out of your safe area, so make sure these are turned on. So DaVinci will always tell you that, hey man, you are going out of the safe area. Otherwise, without that turned on, then you can't really know that this is the safe area. Make sure the aspect ratio is also turned on, just in case, to make sure that you have your safe area set up and running. You can also show smart bins and different stuff going over here, guys. I'm not gonna go into too much about this. You can also show flags. We'll look at flags a little bit in a different tutorial. And yeah, that's it. When I go to playback, I have different options over using my optimized media if available. Optimized media helps you to have a smoother playback when you are playing back footage. Make sure this is always turned on, and you can also use proxy media if available. Same format, same function. You have control over the timeline proxy mode. You can turn it to quarter. Now this is just playback setting, so that kind of helps you to play back in a quarter resolution. Could be you have your footage in 4K, then quarter means you're gonna play it back in 720. If it's half, then it's gonna be 1080. So you get the point. Render cache, make sure it's always on smart, just to make sure that DaVinci Resolve renders for you things even before you watch them. So when you play the back, they are playing back really easy. You can also render delete render cache just like that, and fusion memory cache, always turn it on. And these are kind of like the shortcuts for play, reverse, J, K and L, just respectively, stop and forward. And you can also go to of course the spacebar is just to play, stop or stop playback. You can also play again by just pressing Alt L. Make sure you know these shortcuts, they kind of help, especially if you're working on some really fast project that you just want to have things really move on. The Fusion page doesn't have, it's not open, so it's not gonna really show much about it. I'm just gonna leave it in a little while. And also the color page, I have a full tutorial about the color page, so please check that out. And I want to point your eyes to the Fairlight menu, and here you can find more options within your Fairlight page. But when you go to the Fairlight page, let me just jump to it a little bit. You have full control over bus format, bus assign. You can choose some presets within your library. You can link different groups. You can patch input and output, especially if you're recording anything within DaVinci Resolve. Could be you want to record a voiceover. And guys, I made a full video about how to record a professional voiceover, so check that out. I'll put links in the description below, so don't forget. And you also have full controls. You can also mute your video. Could be, let me select this and go to mute. I can mute that, I can dim it, and I have full control over everything. And you also have full control from here, just like that, when you're playing back. And pretty just as simple as that. And just to round up, I want to point your eyes, guys, to the workspace. Now the workspace kind of allows you to set up everything that the way that you want it. Let me shift back to the edit page so I can show you more about the workspace. Now with the workspace selected, you can switch to page. A different page could be you want to switch to the Fusion page, to the color page, or the Fairlight page, or the deliver page. You can switch to them really easily from here. You see how it's gonna open up within the deliver page. And you can also show different pages or don't show them. Could be I don't want the Fusion page, and could be I also don't want the color page because I'm not using them that much. And so you see how I end up with only 5 pages left for me. And could be I also don't want the media page, and so I'm gonna close that too. So I ended up with only the pages that I use most. And guys, these are pages that I use most, so I'm pretty satisfied with that. And you can go on and also turn off the page navigation. That means you just have things kind of stretched a little bit to give you more real estate, just as simple as that. And you can also show different options here. Active panel selection, you have some shortcuts here, effects, the edit index, inspector. You have shortcuts over here, just go to them. And viewer mode, cinema viewer, well, I like it to be just the default one. And you have different controls over here. Layout presets, you can import a layout to whichever that you really want. You can also go on to search for your keyword dictionary. Now here is super helpful just in case you are looking up for smart bins, you're setting up your smart bins, and you have different keywords here that you can play around with that you want to search. You can also remote render just in case you want that, and also showing scripts and stuff. Well guys, so that's a quick review of the main menu. And when you go to the help menu, you look at DaVinci Resolve reference menu, DaVinci Resolve training. You can go to the website and get more training, and also the control panel setup, and then of course the welcome to DaVinci Resolve and the documentation, the developer, the technicians, and different stuff going over there. So this was a quick review. Hopefully it was helpful to you. Thanks for watching, and if it did any importance to you and good to you, please subscribe to this channel and like this video for more important and resourceful videos like this. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.